All right, mic check, 1, 2. Can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, of course, man. What's happening?
Fire. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to the live stream Cash Flow Amigos Live. I am joined today with Crypto, the famous man, the one and only. Bro, I always do like a little intro for everybody, so I'm gonna just give it a go. Guys, this is
Awesome.
Crypto, the famous. He's a very special person in the Hex community. He's a creator of Hex. What is it? It's hex2learn.com, right? Hex2learn.com.
Yeah.
He's a crypto space legend. This guy was really one of the first to start off with the crypto spaces. So if you see everyone running it up on crypto spaces, it's because he was there running his streams, his spaces, 24/7 doing his thing. Honestly, man, we appreciate you because that's one of the biggest reasons we have such a really big crypto culture or hex culture on Twitter. And we've honestly made that thing really, really popular. So shout out to you, brother, and thank you for joining the stream, man.
Thank you so much, man. And honestly, it's a team effort. At the end of the day, man, we did it. So, I started it. It was funny because if you actually want the story, it started with Orca's record space. And I was like, yo, man, this is crazy how he's using this, forever. Because usually it was like spaces were like an hour or 2 or 3. And then people would get off and say, okay, that's it. We're not going to do this all day. And Orca did it constantly, just
All
like
day.
he did it for I forget, it was like 5 days or 6 days straight until like they rugged him because there was probably no more space. Shouts out to Orca. And then once he got rugged, I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep this thing going. And then I remember that day was January 15th. So since January 15th, we've been, as a community, we've been hosting daily spaces where people could learn, understand Hex, understand crypto, understand the truth about crypto. Learn everything basically that like kind of Richard Hart preaches, what the Hexicans preach, and what the whole, what I call it, the whole ethos of Hex is, and the way you live in Hex, right? It's like it kind of like long story short, saved me from all this like headache and trading and charts, and like able to focus on my life and feel better and do things I've always wanted to do. So shouts out to that ethos. It's not really Hex in the ethos. It's more what comes with the community. The community has been growing. And like what I could say is like, even when you came, it's like all the things we've learned, the things we've grown, what we've created. The new shows that have come up in Hex, the way we've made
we
the
have a lot of new
OGs step
shows
up.
lately.
Of course, man. Shouts out to Jim Rat Crypto. I remember the day where he's like, should I do it? Should I do it? I'm like, yo, we told him, let's do it, man. Yo, we'll help you, everything. Shouts out to Bullish. Awesome fucking dude. Helps the whole community. I'm not alone, man. So I take every time someone says, good job, man, I say, yo, at the end of the day, man, we did it. So we're not lonely, there's no I in team.
Facts. To say what's good to everybody that's in the chat, man. We got Hex's the way in the chat. We have Oscar Official. Someone's PC is running really hard. Yeah, you already know it's you already know it's your boy. Famous. I don't know if are you running it through your computer mic or are you running it through your
Oh wait, hold up, man. Let me close this shit off, man. Hold up.
Yeah, it's probably what it could be.
It's the AC's hungry, man.
There you go. It's the AC.
It's better, man. Yeah.
Perfect.
I was doing some Bitcoin mining. I was doing some Bitcoin mining.
We got
Sorry, Bitcoin Cash mining. Bitcoin Cash mining.
OX Will called it out. If it wasn't for him, I was kind of hearing it, but I didn't think it was coming through that loud on the other one, on the other side. We got Romanian Dan, man. Shout out to Romanian Dan, bro. We love you. We appreciate you, dog. And let's see, we have Maui Hex Stream. Aloha, brothers. What's going on, man? Aloha. Shout out to you. And we got Billy X. Yeah, he is doing some Bitcoin mining. I heard Hex staking is a lot more quiet. That's for sure.
100%.
So, bro, talk to me, man. We got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of stuff going on in the community. I'm sure a lot of stuff that people want to talk about. And so we're here for it, bro. I mean, I wanted to ask you some questions personally. And I think the hottest topic right now, I know a lot of people want to hear about, man, is this whole thing going on with Robert Genny. I don't like talking about people without them being able to like defend themselves, bro, but we got to talk about this stuff, with the Genius token specifically also because I did a video on the weight token. Are you familiar with the weight token?
I heard about it. I don't really care about tokens unless they're. It's not. Yeah, I am a maxi at this point. But the more it's like if they don't come in and like vet their shit, and it's like the community and there's certain people like there's some in the chat like if Hex, it's not just that. It's like we've made it so like that they don't last 5 to 10 minutes in our place.
Yeah.
No, not 5 to 10 minutes. It's done. You know that they, you know, we already have an idea of what's gonna happen. Now, what's happening with the guy? So I saw Motley's post. So then we
Mm-hmm.
were speaking about it, and apparently, long story short, the guy who's making it has a criminal record. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
But like
I
at the
think
end of the
the
day, it's
craziest
like,
part about it is like the whole story with like the chain analysis and the fact that that they're supposedly pumping price and that they're taking out liquidity,
well,
through coins.
iGenius is that thing that people sign up to. I think, because this is
iGenius is a
fucking hilarious.
company, and Genius,
Yeah, it's a company
so I'll tell you,
that people they get
Genius.
like they have like social media marketers and they sell bro, that's hilarious, bro. You want to hear the
Yeah,
funniest shit ever? I have this girl on fucking on TikTok and Instagram that I follow on the personal account, and like the girl was like posting shit, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing? You know? And she's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like I'm doing, you know what and it's, like I actually have the fucking. It's hilarious. Now it just pumped in my head. Yo, yeah, no comment. That shit.
well, you're right.
No comment.
iGenius
I
is
know
an
a lot of
education
people.
company. I know what you're talking about, but I'm talking about the
Yeah,
coin Genius token.
trading. They do forex. They do all that shit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly them. And
Yeah.
yeah, but specifically with this thing, right? We're talking about this token, and the reason why I mentioned the Wait token was because it's actually promoted on the Wait website. It's actually one of the tokens that you had to, it's one of the tokens that you had to like if you sacrifice for, you would have gotten some Wait. I don't even know if Wait makes. I mean, I don't want to talk on Wait because ultimately, just because Genius is a part of it, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't, but it is something that if we're looking at it for what it is, right? Like we do have to keep an eye on it. So it's something I'm gonna keep everybody, how can I say it? Like, I guess not entertained about, but informed about, right? Let people know about that. And yeah, just see where this plays out because honestly, I just started reading about this stuff on Twitter, and I mean, I'm sure everybody's just as curious as I am. So we'll see how this thing goes, man. So yeah, the Genius token stuff that's been going on. We had Orca leave the community, not leave the community, man, but Orca with the whole Orca situation. What's up with Orca, man? Why did he leave?
At the end of the day, the way I see it is like some people have the audacity to step up to certain people that actually do good. Now, everyone's allowed to do something that you don't like. Everyone's allowed to do something that, like everyone's allowed to get hurt too, right? Like, I don't want to speak for Orca. I'm not saying anything about Orca, but like everything that happened is okay. In my opinion, it actually would be amazing if Orca would be the first one to actually this happens to and stays as still as an influence for Hex because everyone loves him. When like some hate him, whatever, some have something to say. But the
I
thing is
appreciate
that
him, bro.
if
He
you
does
then
drop
call
heat.
yourself you can't shit on someone that just said, hey, like check this out, but he's not shitting on Hex. It's like usually you're supposed to shit on someone from what I've seen, right? Because I'm not an OG. Like you shit on someone who shits on Hex. Because if you shit on Hex, you don't make sense. So
No, yeah, I feel you. So the whole situation is essentially he was shilling another project, and then some people in the Hex space, they just didn't like the fact that he was shilling a new project. That's pretty much what it is. Because when it comes down to it,
I think it was a boiling effect. Because at one point we used to talk, because me and Orca are like very like, the same reason why we did the spaces, we're very about allowing people to communicate with each other so the information could flow and they could share their information. So we're kind of like, we want to teach, we want to create something where, that's why I did Hex to Learn, was, a place for people to like, okay, we're all English, we all know how to read and write English, but what happens if the people, you have a family member, like, we're not all English, we're all immigrant. Like for me, I'm an immigrant, right? So if it's Italian, but even though Google Translate has easy Italian, there's some languages that they can't. So my website's available in all the language by Google Translate, and it has everything that connects itself. Like it has the Hex, Pulse Chain, Pulse X websites all connected, Richard Hart connected, links. It's not updated, but at the end of the day, I'm very busy now, but it will get updated. Let me do this. So you know what I mean? It's just at the end of the day, it's about outreach, and Orca was planning on doing outreach. That's why he took out the Hex in his name, because he found that he got better outreach. Right? When I walk in now to a room, and they see Hexagon, they don't usually let me up anymore to speak, even though I know them. They just, some people just tend to like brush me off because like, oh shit, he's a Hexagon now, like, oh no, he's back like the way he was in 2014 and like MAXI, like Bitcoin, whatever, fucking. Yeah, man, it's just funny because it's like.
So you feel like you being a maxi actually has restricted you from, certain
Well,
rooms,
it's
certain
right now.
conversations?
It's right now. For the last 3 years in the summer, there's something in me. Like I usually go with this like flow. I go with the flow, right, of crypto, and because I've seen the flow. It's like kind of like always reading graphs. You know how the graph's gonna go in a way.
Right.
Sort of, but the flow of crypto every summer for the last 3 years has been do nothing. Just do nothing. Just wait and DCA. Because there's going to be certain price points that are going to be very lucrative for a certain amount of money that you do. Just DCA.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Or do
but
one
ultimately,
big buy
like
at
in
the
the
bottom.
conversation of things, right? Like how you mentioned, do you really feel like you being you liking Hex, people don't really let you talk? Like you really feel like you're treated different because of it? I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I feel like
ever since of that, yeah, 100%. Because usually
yeah.
before I was like talking about other things, like I was. The reason why got convinced in 2 hours was I'm a big DeFi guy, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I've owned businesses and I've done whatever I had to do. I've hustled, let's say. So it's like when you understand the concept of making money with money, then you understand that DeFi you could always make money. Now, how much money can you make? How can you maximize your profit? How can you utilize your crypto power in order to make that much money? Positioning, liquidity, all that shit. There's so many ways you could do it. There was the Aave lending protocols, even before Aave when it was ETHLend. Like there was so much shit that you could do even before that, and the, at the end of the day, it's like what was consistent. I was always searching something that would end up being consistent. It never was. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay. And all the externalities of all the other coins that never worked out always were because of actual centralization, keys, hacking, no flawless uptime, always something wrong with a human trying to do something. Cake, it was like everything was perfect until they had to do burns. It was like, Jesus, fuck, we were making so much money at the beginning, but I'm still making money, but not that much. That's not what's good, but it's like less and less people are using it, but I should be getting paid more and more and more. It doesn't make sense. The whole way it was built.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was okay. Less people make more money. More people make less money. But it was like it worked kind of like Hex because of the way but it was not the same. You were giving your coins to a liquidity. So you were giving away your coins. So that you never.
Mm-hmm.
So we were looking at it like, and now it's a BP20, which belongs to fucking Binance, and you're like, oh
Binance.
shit, they could just close and then they did that, and then they closed the whole chain, and then there's 5-6 hours of fucking
I can tell you've been
craziness.
around the block, bro, by all the stuff you've been able to talk about.
To me, when Hex was there, and you were like, okay, regardless of me even making money or seeing how much it was giving, I was like, okay, so you're telling me it does this, and you could see everything, right? Everything's on chain. You can read the contract. You can read this. You can see the functions. The blasphemies that people say, like once I said a blasphemy and I got ripped. Fucking funding gym ripped my ass, but I tried to hold my point, which was like, we're going to get another payday, all because it never says it, it's like blatantly calling a blasphemy like that. No, it's in the contract, it's the code. And I love the way he did it, and another guy did too, sent me links and wrecked me. And I'm like, this is how you're supposed to do it, because people in Hexaco are just like, ripping people, calling them this, cunts, this, but excuse for my language, but they're ripping them in ways that it's not intelligent. So, I want to show people this is how you do it. So the blasphemies that people say sometimes is hilarious. And then you look at the actual what it is and you're like, holy shit, why didn't I find this? I remember seeing it, but I was like, man, where do you get the information? The website looks too good to be true. At the time, it wasn't that information.
Let me ask you this. So right now, right, with everything going on, right, like with the whole Orca thing, like how do you feel like the community handled that? Because ultimately, it is true what a lot of people say. You feel me? Like he is like, for example, Maui Extreme. He goes, it was just educational, right? The fact that they would be telling him that, oh, you shouldn't be shilling this and you shouldn't be that. I mean, ultimately, bro, someone has the freedom to do whatever they want with their money and whatever they want with their speech. And not everyone's gonna agree with what you do, but to what extent is it too much, right? Like, I think honestly, if I want to come on here when I want to talk about whatever I want to talk about, yeah, like I can. There is a certain level of responsibility to that. If we are preaching one thing and then we do something that goes against it. But ultimately, like, how bad was it? You feel me? I think it was just actually bringing the community closer. I remember, with a buddy of mine, Staker class, the Hexagon, he started sharing his NFTs, right? And he was helping the community come together. You feel me? Yeah, with his NFTs. And so I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. I'm happy he is still around. Someone mentioned that he didn't leave, that he's still around, but just with a different handle. So I guess it's like Find Orca. It's like a game of Find Orca.
To be honest with you, he wasn't very active in spaces, but I saw him around. I love this fucking art. Wish I would have got one, but I didn't see. It was like him, Steak and Apes. But Steak and Apes came in, so Steak and Apes
has been crushing it with his art, bro.
He has a team for that. He doesn't actually do art. He's actually the brain behind the whole concept and the brand of Steak and Apes.
But that shit comes out nice.
He's awesome, man. Shouts out to Vortexican. Shouts out to Garo. Shouts out to all his artists, and also to him because he's still part of it. I'm not discrediting. I'm just saying, like at the end of the day,
right.
I like saying the facts, and he appreciates that. I don't know where he is, but he was at the beginning. He did the whole, bro. I saw his fucking. You could say like even him, like the from the beginning where he was like didn't even know what an NFT is till now, like he could probably take a whole space and just fucking teach them everything. That's what the space has brought to people, right?
Check this out.
So what Orca did, man, honestly.
Crescent's art.
Yeah, Fully Crescent too. Yeah, shouts out to Fully Crescent. He's been there since the beginning, also, man. It's fucking of course, man.
And this one's moving. It's awesome. Not moving. I can't really find the other one. I'm sure if we look.
Yeah, for sure. He does all kinds of stuff. He even did like 3D arts. He was showing us like 3D arts of like 3D renders of like him, and like he did all kinds of stuff. And
yeah, look at this.
The thing with Orca, I just want people to understand that like I didn't agree with what he was doing with the PulseCon, right? It was
you didn't agree with it?
My take, my opinion, but I didn't tell him to go fuck himself. I didn't tell him like, okay, people didn't say that, but that's what you basically told him is go take a hike, and you made the man's like say, you know what, fuck it, it's enough. These people are fucking assholes. I'm gonna leave.
I think he was already kind of on his way out. He did mention something about him being out after like 10K followers or something like that. That he doesn't like his accounts hitting 10K. He likes to always switch out. But yeah, no, honestly, like I'm gonna be honest, like after the whole NFT stuff, that Richard does preach and he does talk about NFTs and whatnot. I don't think investing in them for profit is probably the smartest investment. It's probably not the best thing you can do. That's just my opinion. Once again, an opinion. But yeah, it doesn't mean you should shit on someone else for buying their NFTs and for shitting a project. And I don't know. I just think some people, they have and like how they say in Spanish, tienen la lengua larga. You feel me? They have a long tongue. You feel me? They just say a lot of shit, and they don't really know that what they're really saying. I get their point, but when they say it, it just doesn't come out the right way. Oftentimes, they're just probably better off like not saying anything. Maui goes, the point Orca was not making. Orca was not making money. If anyone was buying the NFT, he spent his own time to teach people about the new technology, and it's true. That's a valid point. You feel me? Like the fact that he was out here.
I don't even think it was that. I think it was a whole thing. It was like obviously getting unfollowed, but I think that was a blimp. That was a blimp, but it was like the confirmation of like, okay, perfect timing, like capitalize off this, right? So like now it's like, obviously he did it perfectly. In my opinion, yeah, but Richard, I understand Richard too. You could. I saw that from a mile away. I'm gonna get the unfollow as soon as I'm becoming on MAXI. I know it.
Yeah.
Bro, I know it. I know it. It's
look,
the way it works. I would unfollow. So I unfollow people when they don't. I only follow Hexagons now. I follow you if you have Hex and PLS and PLS Hex in your name. No questions asked. And then I unfollow you if you're like whatever bad actor or you take it out.
Yeah, but a lot of people take that Richard follow like very seriously, like oh shit, like, and then the unfollow is probably.
But Rich, I've said this publicly, like we don't need Richard. I love that Richard's there. Don't get me wrong. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You're awesome, but we don't need fucking Richard. We personally together, we don't need Richard. Our goal should be to outbid him, but we can't. You know what I mean?
I think collectively we do.
We have
a
a
lot.
crazy.
I mean, I think Richard right
term.
now has an exponential effect on the whole protocol, like on the whole idea, the whole ecosystem, on everything. He has a really big, just he takes up a lot of space. I'll put it like that, right?
Well, he
Which
should
is
go
great.
Maya. He should go on vacation for 3 months and just chill.
Disappear.
4 weeks before. 4 weeks before Paul's change, just leave. Just go. Never. Just chill. Just go on vacation, bro. Don't even talk to us. Don't even open Twitter.
That would be interesting because if he does leave, what would happen then, right?
I think that's the next step. I would do that. Straight up, I would do that. I would go insane, right?
I would go crazy
to the point of exile. We're getting there. We're getting there. But today, I don't think that's his plan because today he was really good in the fucking space.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, man. The spaces today, if you missed it, go check out the recording.
Yeah, fam.
We'll put it down. I don't
know if you guys saw that. So there was actually, I don't know if someone could put it in the chat, bro. Actually, Famous, if you can look for it, bro, and you can put it in the chat real quick. So pretty much today, I was just scrolling through my Twitter feed, and then I see like a public NFT space. I think it ended already. It ran for like around 6 hours. 25.9K tuned in. That's a lot of people. It's called Dark Side of Bitcoin, NFTs, and Crypto. And then I saw the little Hex. I saw the little Richard.
That's the one. Post that link. Post that link. That's the one from Mario whatever. Mario something ETH. Mario ETH.
Yeah, and he went, and honestly, like he just went in. He was talking for a few hours with a few people with some maxis. And honestly, some really good people were on that space because you had people from like investors in Celsius, so they were talking about Celsius. They were talking about a lot of stuff. Let me go ahead and post this real quick. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, I recommend you guys go out there and like watch
Richard was on that.
The repeat of that, really cool.
Richard was on that.
So yeah, he was on it. Correct.
For like 3 hours.
Yeah, he was on there talking. He was just preaching and stuff. And
fucking
do you remember some of his talking points?
Well, basically boring stuff was he said he would make an NFT out of the diamond. 555. He was thinking.
I'm happy you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Which is ironic, right?
The fun points were like how he was like explaining that like the thing that no one caught was like he looked and he said, "Are the Bored Apes and are the CryptoPunks on PSF?" And then they didn't answer it, and then he said, "Are they?" And they're like, "Yeah, now they are." Well, obviously now they are because now they're actually done properly. And it's not like they're doing it now properly, and people don't do it properly, and that's and that's wrong. Just like if you were to do DeFi wrong, well, you get the fucking bad shit that happened on Binance. And like exactly like Hex the Way says, 3,000 people in the space, they all heard the truth. And even in their poll, HexEB posted in one of the chats, the poll, Richard won the poll against the guy there, Tony Wu or whatever his name was.
Tony Wu talking about.
Because that's another thing.
Terrible arguments, bro. Terrible argument points. He was like, "Oh, I didn't say." Like he was almost like
definitely sounded unaware.
He wasn't aware, and then he started talking. He had some talking points where he was like, "Oh, I never said Ponzi. You said Ponzi," and then he started like, he was trying to psychologically catch him into some loop. And I'm like, "Bro, your argument is so whack, man." But whatever. I mean,
that's content right there. That's content right there. It's like now they're gonna chop that. They're gonna chop that, and they're gonna make it look like something. Watch.
Exactly. No, and honestly, you could tell from him by the way that definitely he was trying to lead him into a lot of stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, so I want to talk about that right there, right?" Like it was just a very, it's not. I want to say not good debate. Honestly, it was more like he was just kind of telling him or like questioning him on shit. Like there was really no debate there, and Richard was just dropping bombs on him and just giving him that knowledge. And the cool part about it too, guys, is like from an educational standpoint, you got the answer to a lot of these questions, So a lot of people tend to ask it. A lot of people might ask you if you want to know what to say when someone asks you, "Is Hex a Ponzi scheme?" Listen to that shit back because I promise you, you're gonna get like the quick. This is like me thinking on the fly, Richard response, and that's what you ultimately want to tell people too because it's the right way to say it. Let me see. He also gained 2K new followers today. Look at that. I mean, it's great exposure. That's really, really good exposure. Richard has been going up in the followers super fast. He's been doing really well. Shout out to him. That's what's up. But yeah, man. So I mean, now that we got the Robert Guinea stuff out the way, the Orca stuff out the way, let's talk a little bit more about Hex. Let's talk about the ecosystem. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions, guys. If you have anything in particular you guys want to ask, feel free to go ahead and write it down below. Just use hashtag questions so we can see it and we can help you guys get that question answered. But we do want to give you guys some information, in regards to the newest things that are coming out with the Hex ecosystem, specifically with Maximus DAO. Were you able to reach out to Golkey?
Golkey sent me I'll post you a link in the private chat so you can post it in the chat. Golkey gave me one of his Medium articles that he's doing. He's currently working on another one for the new coins. There's the dip catcher. I'm gonna send that to you. I'm gonna send the other one. There's the dip catcher thread also that Bullish sent me, which is fire. You could also go catch Jim Rats. He was on Jim Rats for a bit. He was explaining the new coins. So from what I understand, okay, while I was reading it before doing this, so I'm so bullish on MAXI, man, right? So you got this whole ecosystem where you're putting your HEX for something, you're putting your MAXI for something, it's burning it, you're getting something, let's just call it a perp. There's a perp activity happening where perpetual activity that's happening 1, 3, 7, 10 years, and you got the MAXI, right? Now, you got to think about this. Straight up, I was going to say this at the end, but right now, MAXI is going to be worth more than what you're going to redeem it for. Watch. That's why people won't redeem it. So you got to think about it like this. What would happen and why wouldn't I redeem my MAXI? Because you could use your MAXI to go ahead and get more profits, more, and maximize it by utilizing the community. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what they're doing. I'm loving it, It's let's read a couple excerpts.
So Maximus, for those of you who don't know, Maximus was the first token that came out for the Maximus DAO team. Essentially what it is, it's a DAO with a treasury based on fully staked HEX. So it's pooled HEX into this big treasury, staked max length. So it's taking advantage of the longer pays better bonus in its entirety. And then of course, because it's such a big pooled stake, it's also taking advantage of the bigger pays better bonus, which has a maximum bonus of 150 million HEX. So I'm pretty sure they hit that with they did, right? They hit the 150 million HEX bonus.
294 million. 294 million, so it capped at 150. So technically you were getting 3.3% max extra T-shares. So there's 42,000. So the way you calculate is you got 42 something thousand T-shares. You can go on maximus.cash. Check it out. Then the way it works is that your percentage of the supply is the percentage you're going to be able to redeem. So there's a lot of aspects right now off of that, right? So you got the initial pullout and then you got the end pullout, right? So you got burning, right? So we could burn Maximus in two ways. So let's complicate it. Let's first start, let's complicate it. So Maximus now is going to be a representation, like you said, of this HEX stake that has been staked, and you're going to have a proportion of this stake. Now this stake is redeemable at the end once any one part of the stake of the contract is able to unstake it. And the beauty of the stake is that it doesn't bleed out. So you can unstake it and you can redeem it whenever you want. It doesn't matter. But you need your MAXI in order to redeem it. So then after it burns MAXI, and then it allows you to redeem your portion. So yeah, exactly like on the screen. You see? So right now it's 42,000. I can't see it because it's too small on my screen. But you got 42,000 almost. How much is it?
So it's 42,104 T-shares that was that we received from a total of 294,300, 300K-ish MAXI that was minted. So the reason there was 294.3 million MAXI was because 294.3 million HEX was pledged to this contract.
Exactly.
So you got a 1-to-1 of the MAXI. So you go in 1-to-1, but when you redeem it, you can go 1 to whatever that number is going to be at the end, right? So you can get 3 HEX, 4 HEX.
Well, you can check it out right now, right? So the total treasury is at currently 313 million. So if you go on top, it tells you the percentage. So go more on top.
Higher.
It tells you how much it's backed. Look at the backing. Where's the backing? So you see the backing. Yeah, so it's 1.0 whatever it is, 61 I think that is.
Yeah, 6583 HEX. So for every
6583.
one
So that's a
MAXI you have,
6.5. So right now your ROI, if you would have minted, is at 3.65%. But the
yeah,
premium is currently sitting at 86, right?
correct,
So
correct.
so
So
just
technically, right now
just
you could have gotten, like, if you sell your hex right now,
yeah,
for what you put in, you can get about 86% more hex
80%.
from the amount that you put in. So you have more
Which would
economic
give you more
value.
T-shares. Which
Correct.
would give you more T-shares, so it would be technically more valuable, technically minus the gas fee, more valuable than you would if you were to redeem this. But now with the new coins, right? So guys, so now that this Maximus DAO is coming out with, this was a one-time thing, right? So now they're gonna come out with something that is reoccurring, and there's also other tokens that is like a certain like conglomerate of you being able to supply those and get paid off of it. So like how can you utilize Hex and the power of this Hex stake in order to get paid? So
Exactly. So to break it down really quickly, you have the maxi pool, right? This one is not a
yeah,
perpetual pool. It was not designed to be that way. So that means that this one
one
isn't
time.
resetting after 15 years. It's just, it was just the first. That's how it started. But then Dipcatcher and Gold Key are now developing a new set of perpetual pools that are all going to be deployed by one contract called the team contract. So it's this one team token that's going to deploy 4 perpetual pools. So you're going to have the 1-year pool called Base, a 3-year pool called Trio, a 7-year pool called Lucky, and then a 10-year pool called Desi. And so you're going to be able to do essentially what we're doing here with Maxi, right? Where we were able to pledge 1 hex for 1 Maxi. You're going to be able to do that for 1 hex for 1 base or 1 hex for 1 Desi, depending on what pool you want to participate in. The cool thing about these is that, like how Famous was saying, was that they're going to be perpetually resetting every single time that they end. So the base one, every year after it ends, you can either claim, right, your base, or excuse me, claim your hex and then give back your base, or you can just keep your coins and then, essentially that base perpetual pool restarts all over again. And the rate in which you're able to mint your maxi isn't 1-to-1 anymore. It ratchets. So it's a new, kind of like how the hex T-shares ratchet. So it's a really interesting system. And all of that complements what we're now focusing on, which is the team token, right? Let me see if I can open up that Medium article you sent me, brother. Okay, yeah, and let me share this over here. Perfect. So pretty much what we're talking about, right? So we talked a little bit about base, right? That 1-year perpetual pool, where all you need to participate in this pool is Hex. So as long as you own Hex, and have a little bit of ETH for gas, you'll be able to step into this pool, right? And then be a part of this 1-year perpetual stake.
Yeah.
But then the team token, right? We're not going to see it explained, in this video or in this article. But the team token, the way that it works is you're going to be able to get team by pledging your maxi. So instead of pledging your hex to get a maxi or pledging your hex to get a base token, you're going to be able to pledge your maxi token. So you need to have maxi for this. If you don't have maxi, you will not be able to get team. When you give your team, right, I have the notes here. Let me open these up. 20% of it, okay, 20% of the maxi that is pledged, that's going to be burnt. So it's actually going to dilute the supply of maxi, making the redemption supply higher. That's the first point. 30% of the maxi minted is going into the team lockup, which is like a pool that gets dispersed over 3, 6, and 9-year intervals. So 30% of whatever is minted is going to go to this pool that for stakers of team, they're going to receive it after 3 years, a portion of that pool. After 6 years, they're going to receive another portion. And then they're going to receive a final portion after 9 years. And then the rest, of course, is just it just sits in the team contract. So whenever you I believe it's whenever you redeem your team, you essentially burn the team and then you get back all these extra yields. So that's one thing. That's how you get the token. But now the thing about staking team is that you also earn Hex and Hedron. A lot of people's question is, where does that come from? So we're going to answer that for you guys right here. The hex that you get when you stake team, all right, and the hex that you get when and the hedron that you get when you stake team, that's going to come from these perpetual stakes, all right, base, trio, lucky, and desi. So what happens is when these perpetual stakes start, right, whichever one of them it is, which I'm pretty sure I I heard excuse me, Dipcatcher talk about it. They might launch these all at once. So every single time one of these perpetual pools starts over, right, or when it starts initially, the total amount of bigger pays better bonus, okay, which could potentially be 150 million hex or effective hex, that's going to be given to to team stakers. So we're talking about, because there's 4 pools, a potential 600 million hex that's going to be earned as yield for these team stakers. And also we're talking about all the hedron produced from these perpetual stakes. So you have the bigger pays better bonus from each and every single one. So all the base perpetual pools, every time they start over, the bigger pays better goes to team, right? The trio, the lucky, right, the desi, all those bigger pays better bonuses, they go to team as well. And then you also have all of the hedron going to it as well. So it's a really cool concept. I mean, it's pretty breakthrough, because technically what the team token is more of like a marketing token. So those who are really committed to the Maximus DAO, they're going to be able to benefit off of the success of these pools. And yeah, it's just a really cool kind of way to add game theory to this whole system. And yeah, I mean, that was just what I collected. They haven't really dropped like a full article on these stuff yet. So what I'm giving you is based on, me being on spaces and hearing these guys talk about it and their announcements and stuff. But guys, like, just the idea of it already sounds great. And you know what's crazy, bro? Famous, I was actually on the space with Dipcatcher and with Gold Key, and I asked them, I'm like, bro, why don't you consider adding a 15-year stake to launch with the team contract too, for the next Maximus contract that after it ends, right? So like, kind of like already working towards, like, 15 years from now, the second one starts, but that bigger pays better gets added to this team as well. So he thought about it. I don't know if he'll add it. I really do hope, they consider it and they add it into the contract, because think about it. Right now we only have MAXI, but MAXI is only, one pool. Once that pool ends, it's done. It's not a part of any other contract. It's not perpetual. But if they add it to the team contract, it will be perpetual. So they can kind of like pre-plan it, and over time, that would be that after 15 years, right, that would be the next MAXI pool. So I'm 24. I'll be probably like, what, 39? So, think about it. Bitcoin's been around for 12 years now. People still know Bitcoin. X will be around, hopefully 15 years from now. And Maximus will still be around 15 years from now. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just kind of like a cool way to, 15 years from now, add kind of like that marketing aspect to it all. So yeah, I mean, I told him. He said, hey, it's a great idea. Why not? So I hope they get it added, man. That seems really dope.
Yo, they're very open for a lot, because I still remember the space where we gave them. I'm not gonna say we gave them. Like, I'm not gonna say that. But I remember we were talking about that, where it was like, yo, man, you could take the Maxi and make it so like that people don't end up redeeming it. So you create a way where it's like people end up burning it or end up staking it, so like that you end up giving them the return, right? 1 year, 2 years, and a percentage of each one of those stakes goes in and pays off for the people that do it with their Maxi. So the whole concept they came up with this is so much better, because it's like it's obviously dope, thought of, but I remember the beginning, and I'm so happy for them, bro, because I've called this and I don't give a shit. I've called it even before them. I said 15 to 1. 15 to 1 Maxi. It's going to be at a 15 to 1 ratio. Watch, mark my words. It's going to be 15 to 1. And I say it always on air. I know it. It's amazing, because right now we don't see it, because right now you could get Hex and you could get a T-share for a bit more expensive. A bit more expensive. Plus the coin went down in price, so it's much cheaper to get.
A whole 100%.
We're waiting until we hit 5 years, 6 years, 100,000 Hex per T-share. 200,000 Hex per T-share, because people are just racking up that motherfucker, whether it's on Pulse Chain or ETH. God knows what we could get at. Hexes, we
get a question from Maui. He goes,
at that.
Overall, which one of these coins will in the future? What do you think? Which one do you think is going to perform better? I think the highest yielding one is going to perform better. I think Desi would probably be the highest performing, just because you're maximizing both bonuses. That's my opinion.
I think it's going to be the 1 year, because people are going to get more paid in the end of the day. And people tend to do bigger stakes for shorter time.
Yeah, like smaller, bigger stakes. Oh, that's a good point.
Because you get paid more, right? You burn more, you get paid more. Even
people, there's always that thing about, there's a lot of stakes ending earlier than there are, I guess, not later technically, because but there's a lot
It
more
could be more
volume in
profitable
Hex.
just hold your maxi, man, because of all the burning that's
Yeah,
gonna happen to it. So you giving up all that, like, I don't know, man,
yeah.
because the ratio
Which
is
one will be
crazy, man.
better? I don't know which one will be better, but I tell you which one would be bigger based on what you just said, Famous. I think the base one would probably be the bigger one because of how short it is. Between that one and Trio, like 1 to 3 years, that one might be the one that people might want to go for. The 3-year one, because it may provide a little bit more APY than the 1 year, because you're getting that longer pays better. You're getting 60% more shares in T shares. So yeah, that's a pretty good point, man. Good question there, Maui.
Even the
And
10,
look, just
even
to
the
clarify, bro, the team stakers earn 50% of the bigger pays better bonus, so it wasn't 100%. It's 50% and all hedron from the base stake, and so that'll also be included for Lucky and for Desi. So 50% of the bigger pays better bonus and all the hedron from the base stake. Powerful. So yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in team, just stay close to Gold. Stay close to the Maximus DAO Twitter. They're gonna be dropping more information over time. And yeah, guys, I mean, if you guys want to learn more as well, you guys can always be a part of Cashflow Amigos. Check out the website. It's a cool community. You guys can learn about cryptocurrency. I got a couple I got a Hex course. I got a blockchain course. I'm sure we got a bunch of brand new people out there. And yeah, you guys can always be a part of that. So you guys are more than free to do that. So yeah, man. I mean, honestly, this contract for me is probably I think it's one of the better ones that we've seen in the Hex derivative space. Hedron's doing its thing, but it did have a slow start because of the whole like 90-day audit thing. That's the only mechanism that actually removes things from circulation. Like that's the only burning mechanism that it has. So because it takes 90 days for a Hedron instant stake to be auctioned off and then for that Hedron to be burnt, it has like a little bit of delayed effect. But I'm pretty sure hopefully in the future it'll probably go up. How do you feel about it as a maxi? You like Hedron? Because I mean, if you're a maxi, you only like Hex. That's kind of like what it says. I mean, technically, you like, of course, Maximus because technically it is still
Well,
only Hex.
I guess I'm an RH Maxi, if you could call it, because I have no
Okay.
problem with Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I have no problem with Maxi. I have no problem. I have a good amount of Maxi too, man. I definitely I did a very good. I believed in them, man. That was the fucking greatest idea ever, in my opinion. I got more. Right now, we always got the choice to choose to get out and get more, no matter how you see it, right? It's how could someone look at you and say you did wrong for taking it out, getting more Hex, and staking it and getting more T-shares than you originally would have?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I mean,
So it doesn't matter what I do, right? Whether I do it now at 3, at 4, 5, 1, at 1.3, at 1.4, I guess people are just negative and they like get it being greedy. But at the end of the day, I get more. As long as I get more T-shares, that's the point.
Yeah, and on top of that, bro, I mean, if you're only holding Hex, like the cool thing about Hex is you have your stake ladders. I think that when I first saw the idea of a snowball ladder, I was like, what? I was like, no way. Like this is it. That makes sense, And if you're not familiar with a snowball ladder, you set up a stake every year for 15 years. And then when that next year ends, you grab the principal, you put it as a 16-year max length stake, you keep the interest, and you just keep doing that every single year. But you have to have at least 15 years first. So that strategy's dope. But people like the idea of having liquid Hex too. So that's why I'm also very happy about Maximus being around, because that gives you just extra options, right? But it also doesn't take you away from the Hex ecosystem. You see what I'm trying to say? So that's why I appreciate it. As a Hexican, I guess you can call me an RH Maxi too, bro. I really don't look at anything else other than like Richard Hart projects right now, because I've learned a lot from him, and everything he does is based on what we're learning. And he's implementing it and it works. You feel me? Like we have the success from it. So yeah, I mean, I guess I would consider myself a RH Maxi with his projects too. But yeah, like these projects, bro, and I'm just surprised. I even told the boys when we were on that space, I was like, yo, I don't know how you guys come up with this stuff. I have no idea how you guys come up with this stuff, but this stuff is clean, bro. Clean. Dibcatcher has some skills with the code. That guy's doing it.
Yeah, it's very good. But at the same time too, it's like I still have a lot of coins, man. Don't get me wrong, I'm still involved and I do my business and I keep in touch with my crew. and they make fun of me too, but at the end of the day, it's like it's like, okay, remember, I always tell them, like, remember every single mainnet that we didn't get the maximum return we could have if we would have just held because we thought, but we didn't, but we were like, shit, it will, but fuck it, we're good. And I'm like, but if we would have just I was very disappointed with Phantom because I'm like, why didn't we I'm like, we should have waited. Like,
Yeah.
the fuck?
Because you got out of Phantom?
Yeah, early. I got like a fucking. I got like a nice little 150x on that motherfucker. I was doing minor gate from the beginning and like just ripping that motherfucker, buying it whenever.
No,
Just Phantom. I like the name. I just like the name. I remember back in the day I bought.
Yeah.
I traded all kinds because like I had all kinds of. I remember back in the day it was like Dash, Digibyte, and this other coin, I forget what the fuck, Bytecoin. I think it was Bytecoin. And
oh, bro, if you're talking like that far, I mean, nigga, we have what? You remember Carbon Hood? Yeah, Carbon Hood back in the day was huge. Tron was big for whatever reason. Like when
Tron, I was like, I got like a Tron.
I made some bread on Tron.
I just remember a friend of mine. I just remember a friend of mine looking at me and saying, "Bro, who cares?" and it was funny because the coin that we said, "Fuck it, let's do this one too," was IOTA, which was a shit. And we were debating because I remember IOTA had like, this is back then. IOTA had like a potential of being part of like cars. Or some shit, if I remember correctly, like they were supposed to get like a German deal with like Mercedes Benz and BMW or something like that, or like Land Rover or something, I forget. And it didn't ever end up happening, and we were like, fuck it, so we went with both, but it was just, yeah, man.
I never, honestly, bro, I never got into any of those. I was big on Bitcoin, like.
Nah, I was on the Bitfinex days when you had to be on Bitfinex.
I got into BitConnect. You know through who? I got into the BitConnect through Trevon, bro. Through Trevon James back in the day. I remember I was in college. Dude, that shit was hilarious. I didn't know what I was doing, honestly. No, but I was that new. You feel me? I mean, you have years into it. You're talking about 2014.
Nah, well, I got digged by Bitcoin.
I think everybody got a dig, to be honest.
Of course, man. It was like, yo, we were like, I remember it was like, we were looking at that fucking front end, like, yeah. Like,
but if you also think about it too, like for example, if you would have held all those, like a lot of those coins from back in the day, what would you have now, right? Like, I mean, 90% wouldn't even be here, first of all.
Well, most of them I did sell at their tops. Like ADA sold at its top. What other coin? ARR I sold at its top. Fucking a lot of Bitcoin at its top. Well, I want to call it its top, 52K. Then it was Cake. It was just someone I know, one of my very good friends. Like, just forget about it. Like, I did the mistake of selling Binance at a very, very cheap price, very, very cheap price to get in more into Cake. And then into Venus.
Yeah, I remember Cake.
And then I put that money into Auto Farm.
This is kind of like my way.
And then I got rugged. Yeah, but Cake was just at some point it was. I remember, man. Unfortunately, I was selling. I was just using it to live. I was using
guys,
my
look,
Cake.
I'm gonna just show you this real fast, and I want to show you this too, Famous, just to kind of show you where I was at, and I kind of want to ask you where you were at. So this is pretty much the Bitcoin market cycle, divided into 4 years. Year 1 is the bull cycle, is a bullish year. You have year 2, 3, which is kind of like your bear years, and it starts to kind of like level out on year 3. Year 4, we come back to all-time highs, and then once again, year 1 is that breakout year. And so I'm gonna tell you where I was. Right, this is 2017, 2018. I got in like around here. This is where I got in with Bitcoin at like 1,000 something. I saw this whole run up. This was me, and I made money on this, and I exited somewhere around here, like somewhere around this area. I exited because I lost like fucking 50% of my value almost, And mind you, I was holding altcoins, so it wasn't perfectly with what Bitcoin's coinciding with right now. But dude, I got screwed over because I put in 4K, made 14K, went back to 4K. I was like, whoa, something's wrong here. You know what I mean? Like, so there's something going on here. And so that's when I started to learn about it. So you got in like around down here, 2014. This was you. No, you got in before.
So I got in at. So if you look at the dates, can you go hover around the date where the one is, please?
I got you. Over here.
I think it's there.
Oh, 2013.
No, before that.
That's
so
good.
then it was no. So then yeah, there, around there. It should be like 2012. Go 2012, December 2012, around June.
December,
yeah, around there. So around there was when I saw it. I heard about it.
Bitcoin?
I remember a bit. So if we're talking then, it was maybe.
So you
found out about Bitcoin March. Like so it was always. So it was maybe February, March. February, March. I remember seeing the ATM. So it was around that time, February, March, because I went to finish college. Then I ended up going to the. When did I?
So you got time, guys. Real quick, if you guys don't care, go ahead and write down when you guys found out about crypto.
My first purchase could have been, probably at like July, August. Of that top. So I remember doing the top. Huh? So we were we were doing the top. Then we were dumping it during that dump because we were tripping. I remember we were tripping because we were losing all kinds of money. Then while we were selling the remount, we sold most of it. Then we lost it at exactly like right half of the top. You see that, like exactly where that line of the red line is? What date is that?
This one where I'm at right now?
No, the other one where the red part is, like the cross.
Oh, red at this top?
We're talking about right in the middle of that. Right in the middle of that. Right in the middle of that. No, where the line is, the red line, the horizontal red line. So in the middle of that pump.
Ah, okay. So like right around here.
Yeah, that date.
What's
August
that date? 2014.
Should be. No, that date should be like October, November. No, not there. More left. Line, more left. Fuck, I wish I could show you. More left.
Yeah.
Where your green? Yeah. More left. Where the pump was. Yeah. See, October.
Okay.
That's when we lost a bag of before. One bag from before.
Where are you watching the stream through? Are you watching the stream through YouTube, or are you watching it through?
No, through us. But I have the shittiest screen ever.
Okay. So you got in like around 2014, 2015, like 2015.
Yeah, and then we just with what we were doing, we just kept buying, and we were mining.
Yeah, that's sick though.
Buying.
You guys had it like.
And then
altcoin.
Then when shit hit a certain price, I remember we bought Ethereum because shit was easier. And then Litecoin should have came, and then Litecoin should have pumped. Pull up a Litecoin chart. Yeah.
So this is 20. This is 20.
Yeah, one of my friends was disgusting. He knew everything.
He got placed. I haven't even seen Litecoin chart in God knows. I don't even follow it. Let me see.
Yeah, very good place.
Like.
I think he lives in Dubai now. Long story short. I don't know what he's doing.
Alright, let's see what's up. Because some of these probably won't have. Let me see, Litecoin index. There we go.
But keep in mind these days, like, sweating, buying. It was fucked because you never ever got the whole thing.
What do you mean?
You never ever. You look at maybe Bitstamp. or Bitstamp, US dollar
Bitstamp?
Litecoin Bitstamp shit, or Kraken.
Yeah, this one looks
Mm.
good. 2017. Did it launch in 2017?
I don't think so. I think it was right before that.
Oh.
Try Kraken. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, this shit was hilarious.
Weird. Look at that.
Bro. So like so if you go back on the Bitcoin, that dump is because Bitcoin went up like a motherfucker. So when that was happening, we said, bro, what the fuck? Let's get this.
That makes sense. I would see where the interest came in. But did you guys get it at pennies, or you got it at the dollar mark?
No.
Because it didn't really give you too much opportunity to get it at pennies.
No, I didn't know nothing about that. Then we also had Ethereum Classic.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. I came in like around. My stuff was like Dent, Chainlink, XRP.
But you have to
like,
also understand, us it was we buy it and we sell it right away. So we always had. No. Well, yeah, technically.
My God, you were trading it. Come on, you were buying stuff. If you're buying
no, we weren't trading it. There was no such thing as trading. There was no such thing, bro.
Right, but trading it would, by definition, trading is buying and then selling like not automatically, but in a way, selling later for a quick.
No, you were using it as like a commodity. It was trading. It was bartering it. You had to barter it. It was like, then there was all these things. Like I remember you were able to take like iTunes cards, PayPal, not PayPal, Visa credit cards. And just buy shit with crypto with it. So crazy. You were able to.
No, crypto was a different time back in the day.
But so I definitely think I know you know someone that at the gas station was like, yo, I got credit cards half price, bro. You'll come get some. There's always that guy on the blog who does that, So when you would get half a credit card, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm getting twice as much crypto.
Yeah.
Then plus in Canada we had the ATMs, so it was just like, oh shit,
that's clutch, man. Damn, so you got time in this space, bro.
I wonder how many people could tell you they got Bitcoin on a card. I wonder who still has their card.
Like a credit card?
That's all I gotta say. A card, just a paper. I remember everyone knows this, but the MEUW, it wasn't C phrase, it was a card. You had like a piece of paper you print out, and that shit was like, it was key. It was your fucking paper key of Mew.
Yeah, are you big on jewelry? Are you big on watches?
No, I wear this is what I wear, guys. This is my fucking Richard Mille, man. This is a Timex that was given to me when I was 3 years old from my grandmother. Who's recently passed away. Well, not recently, but she passed away. And it's been around for 27 years. And this motherfucker, I wear it everywhere. I still got the alarm because the light. So you can't really see it. There's like a light. So at night, it's the classic Timex, and it still works. It got the alarm that works. Bro, this is vintage, like this is famous vintage, and I swear to you, I have all other watches. I have Citizen, I have Tiger, I got all kinds of watches, but I'm not really a watch guy. I like wearing this motherfucker. Yeah, but that's dope. That's dope. But I'm more of a sentimental guy, I'm like, even my tattoos are very numerologic, sentimental. I'm a very sentimental guy. Me, flashiness is, I grew up with money, so it's nothing, man. You gotta be happy in life. You gotta treat people good. Like, I'd rather just have how do I say this? I'd rather delay my gratification. I want like every one of my cousin's kids to get something in life. Like I want the families to.
Did you
be
give
good.
them a HEX watch
seen
or a Pulse watch?
No, man, I give them a steak. That's dope. No, honestly, the HEX one is
I can't even
nicer,
like, bro. Yeah, the HEX.
The HEX one was nicer, but Pulse chain is whatever. But like,
yeah.
The HEX is nice, man.
Nah, I mean,
these are dope, man. You should get.
I got one, right? And,
I actually know one of the guys that was. Well, I know a jeweler. Shouts out to the jeweler. I can't say his name, but he's probably gonna come out with some really good stuff. Some rings too. There's also a jeweler Arabic. Go check them out. Yeah, there's gonna be some cool stuff. Hopefully they come out with it soon.
This one's tough, though, bro. I'm excited for this one to come in. Like this one is.
That's the HEX one, no?
Yeah, this is the HEX.
That's the HEX one. Yeah, that one, that light blue turquoise, bro, is dope as fuck, man.
Nah, That's clean,
Yeah,
boy. Look at that.
yeah.
That's tough. That's tough. I
But
just like,
that's a cool watch to have. You know, a nice Rolex is like, man, I'd be afraid to
it's a
hit. God, I
conversation
hit shit,
piece.
I scratch.
It's a conversation piece. It's definitely, it's something nice to just have
I've
to
lost
like
too
talk
much
about.
jewelry, bro.
It looks like a little Richard
I've
Mille,
lost a
so you gotta be
30-inch
careful, kind of.
chain.
But
I've lost a 30-inch chain. I remember I lost my fucking Tissot when I was a kid, but at the time it was worth whatever. You weren't gonna be 17 years old with a fucking $2,000 watch on you. You know, it's just what was it? What the fuck are they called? Yeah, Tissot thing. I think it was a Tissot. What are they called? Stay still.
what is it?
Anyways, I forget now.
Nah, but yeah, bro. I mean, honestly, like the whole idea with what the community.
I really want to get a Breitling
It's
though.
pretty dope.
I
mean,
like Breitlings.
I'm a big watch guy. Like, I don't have many watches. I don't have expensive watches. You feel me? Because for me, it's not. I honestly, bro. Look, I'm gonna be real. The whole getting into into watches and stuff, I love it. I watch it from a distance, but I don't buy it because it's not where I'm at yet. You feel me? Like, I gotta get to. Even if I had hundreds of millions of dollars, when I have hundreds of millions of dollars, at that point, of course, I'd start investing and stuff like that. But on your way there, like, to get something right now that just wouldn't appreciate at the level that Hex is appreciating at, or like that PulseCon can potentially appreciate at, is just, I look at the opportunity cost in it way too much to be able to just want to get it. Like, for example, that piece that your grandma that your grandma gave you, right? Like, that piece for me, it would mean way more to me than anything else. Like, I got these, little gold chains that I got from my graduation, and little things. I'd rock that over a freaking iced out, Cuban link any day. So,
well, it depends.
For me,
the person too. It depends the person too, right? For me, it just means everything to me.
No, of course. Life, but to my point is the fact that if you if you just delay that gratification, right? Like, there will be things that will materialistic things that everybody has, right? But if you just focus on just up, man, because ultimately, famous, this is a financial literacy channel. I always talk about making good money decisions, doing the right thing with your money. You feel me? And bro, it's just not the time. Me personally, bro, if you can, this is my advice to you. If you're watching this and you're probably wanting to stack up more Hex, which is probably why you're here, you probably want to get more involved into the cryptocurrency world and invest into these assets like Maximus and whatnot. Like, if you right now are sitting on your ass and you're not doing anything, go get a job. Like, go get a job, get some money in your pocket, save up, right? Read the book The Richest Man in the World. Very basic principles for money, right? Just with the first one they give you in the book, with live on 90% of your income, save 10% of your income, pay yourself first, and that's what you can invest into crypto, and just go from there, man. Because I promise you right now, there's no better time than to buy the dip. While everybody's selling, you need to be buying. Everybody's buying, you need to be doing the direct opposite, unless you're holding and you're using the RH strategy, right? Like, just buy and never sell. But yeah, man, like right now, it's such an important time, bro. We're in a great place in the economy ultimately, because this is where the opportunity happens. I don't mean it literally, because literally there are a lot of stuff that's going down where people are struggling and whatnot. But if you aren't in that position and you can go out there and you have time on your hands and you can work, bro, go work. Like, get off your butt, go work, save some money, stop spending it on dumb stuff. There's something that I was reading. And on top of that, I actually saw a video on YouTube right after the fact from an economist, and it's something called the wealth effect. You heard of it? All right, so the wealth effect.
Oh, like getting too much wealth or something like that?
No, not wealth. That's what Maddie and I talk about. That's what's it called. They call that
sudden wealth syndrome or something like that.
Sudden wealth syndrome. Yeah, that's what they talk about. But no, the wealth effect is when you start making more money and you start spending more money. So let's say, for example, right, you had an asset, or like you bought crypto, you put $500, $5,000 into crypto, it turns into $500,000. So now you go out there and you start spending, right, on all these luxury things, blah, 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 blah. You start buying, you start traveling, you start doing this, you start spending some crypto, you start spending some money. Then what happens? 2022 happens, right? Prices are going down. Hex is down 95%. Let's say that was your top coin. That's what made you most of your money. But you already spent all this money. Now your stack is at like 10K, 20K. What happened, right? The wealth effect is when you start overspending your money just because your assets are going up in value. And that's what a lot of people don't get to feel that, or don't really get to experience that and realize that it happened to them until after, when they already spent all the money. So if I can give anybody advice, bro, like right now, you're going to buy up these tokens, right? You're going to invest this money into whatever it is that you guys want to invest into, whether it's, HEX, or whether it's NFTs, or wherever you want to put your money. Ultimately, that's not my decision. That's not my business. I don't really care where you do it. Me and Famous will tell you what we think, but ultimately what you guys want to do is 100% up to you. You guys make money in the next 2 to 3 years, right? In relation to what I'm showing you guys, right? Like when I showed you guys, once again, I'll just bring it back up for reference, right? This is what I believe will probably happen. A lot of people like it when I make calls. This is the closest thing to a call you'll see on my channel, right? So if I open up this Bitcoin chart and I just see how history is repeating itself over the course of time, right? Based on data, based on the metrics. If on year 1, right, we experienced that bullish effect. Year 2, we experienced a dip, like how we are experiencing it to like this year, right? In 2022. Year 3, the market has like a nice little bounce. We kick back up, but ultimately it comes back down. By year 4, we create a final low, and then by pushing back to year 1, we make all-time highs and we continue. By 2024, 2025, y'all need to have your money invested. Y'all got to be ready. If this continues to play out the way that I believe it'll play out, right, because of the Bitcoin market cycle, mind you, a lot of things are uncorrelated. A lot of things don't even move this way. But we're talking about Bitcoin here, and Bitcoin technically does move the majority of the other assets, right? We're seeing it's a reflexive market. You have 2022, 2023, and 2024 to stack up and put your money into whatever assets you want to put your money into. But once this starts to happen, guys, don't allow the wealth effect to take over, because if this is your first time ever making money and you start spending it and squandering it, I promise you, you're just going to lay yourself 3-4 years. Tell me no, Famous.
No, you're going to buy some dumb shit. Guarantee it. Spend
you
your
feel
money.
me? Like, save your money.
Watch isn't that bad, though.
Bro, but here's the thing, right?
And
look,
bottles,
maybe your first
food,
cycle, maybe your first cycle wasn't, where you made all the, like where you super rich, but by cycle 3, by cycle 2, cycle 3, like you're experiencing another level of wealth. Like, look, if you bought down here, right? When Bitcoin was at $2, by the first cycle you were up 60,000%. We're talking about 605x. But if you would have allowed that to sit, and you would have waited to the second cycle, you're up 900, almost 1,000% on that investment. That's big. At 1,000%, you can be doing way more than if you had a 600% is fire. But at 1,000, like, you just got way more money. You got way more money to deploy. You can probably have way more fun.
Yeah, but you gotta understand
be
that whole pump at the beginning, it was not meant to be an asset. That's what people don't get.
So it wasn't, but a lot of people didn't spend it.
No, everyone spent it.
A lot of people didn't spend it, right?
I swear.
They didn't have to. They didn't.
They didn't spend it. If they didn't spend it, they don't have the keys to their wallet. I promise you. I'm telling you, everyone at the beginning spent it. Bro, Richard spent it, but he had all kinds of it because he was mining.
He's still spending it.
Yeah, and, like, you have to understand that he kept it, but he was mining.
Yeah, but I didn't say it's the same. You feel me? Like, knowing what we know now, if we can go back in the past, like that. But here, I'm giving you the example of Bitcoin. Right?
There's a very certain amount of people that kept that shit. A very certain amount of people kept that shit because it was not used for that. It was not. It wasn't,
bro. But we're talking about a brand new. We're talking about a brand new time in history, bro. Well, we already experienced what happened with Bitcoin. Now we got a project like HEX coming along. You're gonna tell me that after you saw what happened, like, you think that history won't repeat itself with an asset like this, where it has just as much potential? Where, for example, what happened with Ethereum, maybe you didn't do it with Bitcoin, but shit, did you do it with ETH? You know?
For sure. ETH, definitely, right? I learned my lesson. And ETH was promises, but the promises were keep your ETH. So it played out very well for you if you kept your ETH at the beginning.
And then the distractions came along, altcoins. A lot of people traded their ETH for
ICOs. ICOs.
Yeah,
We
there you
trade
go.
our Litecoin, Bitcoin.
And it's the same stuff, and it doesn't change. Right now, what's happening, right? We're going into a bear market. People want you to swap your HEX for this NFT, for that distraction, for this distraction, right? Don't get distracted. Right now, you got to keep accumulating. You got to keep putting your money into whatever asset you feel like is where you need to be putting it at. And ultimately, man, if you stick to it, you're gonna come out on top, man. The idea is you are experiencing the greatest transition of wealth. Are you going to be in that transition? Are you going to participate, or are you not? Are you going to be on the sidelines, or are you going to be in the game? You feel me? And if you sell off your tokens for stupid ass NFTs and for doing this and that, whatever, like, I'm not saying NFTs are bad investments, you know, but ultimately, are they an investment? Are they really an asset? When you compare, for example, Bitcoin, would you consider Bitcoin an asset?
Yeah.
Right? Would you consider Ethereum an asset? HEX, for example, an asset, Maximus an asset, then invest in assets. And particularly, this is called cash flow, amigos. Invest into things that produce you cash flow. Like my dog, I got to a T. I know how much HEX I'm earning a day. And I calculate it. And every time I stack more T-shares, I recalculate how many HEX I'm earning every single day. You feel me? I get that number. I tweak that number. I'm like, okay, this is more or less what I'm earning every single day. And I keep that number in mind. Why? Because I know
the more T-shirts you
cash
get,
flowing.
you're just getting like,
yeah, like I don't have real estate.
Imagine the guys with like 1,000. Imagine people with thousands of T-shirts.
Thousands of T-shirts, man. And that's like these guys are
counting their fuck all. Costed them fuck all. And some of them, it costed them nothing.
Yeah.
Costed them nothing.
The whole idea, like, I'm gonna be real famous. The whole idea of cash flow, amigos, is to be able to build that whole cash flow mentality in the cryptocurrency space. And I love that staking is becoming a thing, because now inflation, now that it's turning into like a good thing as opposed to a bad thing, like how we see it in most economies, right? And in fiat, traditional fiat, cash flow, amigos, is about that, right? Allowing people to learn how to make their crypto cash flow, right? So that every single time you have, an investment that is producing you yield, you can calculate, okay, I'm gonna sell this much every single month. Like, you could eventually live on your crypto. I want to live in a world where eventually I can solely live on my crypto investments. That's where I'm going.
You shouldn't, man. It's gonna be, bro. The change that's gonna occur in the next 20 to maybe I'd say half a quarter of a decade is gonna be tremendous. So my plan would be this. Obviously, work, right? Like you said, get a job, take your money.
Yeah, of course.
Do that 10% shit. I would even say do 5%. So you keep that 5% for other things, because like you never know when you need. You keep the 5% for a rainy day. Cash in the shoebox never hurts. I'm sorry, it never hurts to have that cash. Yeah, it appreciates, but you pay that inflation to be worry-free, right? You got to take care of yourself first. A lot of people say, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that, but at the end of the day, you got to understand what makes you happy. What do you want to do? What is your goal? I would say this, OG Tex, Hex, he says, man, I got a goal, and I'm going to do it, and that's it. So you got a goal, you go for it. I wouldn't even suggest this. Like, I'll bet you to it. Anyone. One HEX stake for 555, make 5 wallets. Come see me in 5 years. Tell me if you're up or not. You'll get so many fucking airdrops. You got so many. You're gonna get 5 airdrops for every coin that comes out, because that's usually how they're gonna do the airdrops. There's gonna be so much. And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? What does that tell you, right? Because like the more wallets you would have had with crypto that you utilize, not that you have, but that you would have spent, that you would have done and used, you would have got more money, right? So Uniswap as an example, if you would have done if you would have took one transaction, split it in 4, paid the extra gas for all 4, you would have got a fucking, like, it wouldn't have made sense. You could have done a $5
but Uniswap was one of those
transaction.
unique opportunities where like you were making dumb money off of like I don't know, was it lucky? Like
1 inch. There's so many, bro.
I don't think I use 1 inch.
Bro, there's so many for just
But there hasn't been many after the fact.
But to utilize what it's meant to do. Bro, there's so many coins that came up, bro. A coin, the Fox, what was it called? It was a swap. back in the day. It was like Changeling, but it was Shapeshift. You
Oh, the
use
Fox.
Shapeshift, you got if you use Shapeshift, you got an airdrop. Straight up for just using it. I used it a lot.
But was that one like Uniswap where everybody got the same amount?
Yeah, but no, it wasn't. It was you
What
went
was
through
it based
them.
on?
They were an exchange. They were like the old exchange where you had no chart. It was this is how much you get. That's how much the coin's worth. Now you gotta pay a
Okay.
fee and you can buy it, or you could buy with crypto. Like it was the spot. In my opinion, it was the spot. You didn't have to do KYC at the beginning. It was just instant, cha cha. Um, but that had an airdrop. I can name you so many, man. And it
I
was
mean,
just for
the reality
using.
is the longer you stay in crypto, the more airdrops you're gonna get. But that's my point. You feel me? Like you don't want to sell. You want to have a job. Like a lot of people tell you this whole like they try to sell you a dream with like oh quit your job, you can do crypto full time, blah 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 blah. I mean, yes and no in a way you can. If you play it smart, you definitely could do it. I think.
Yeah, no, but you
Honestly, bro,
could,
look,
but you take a lot of
this is the
risk.
way I see it. The learned will inherit the earth. We're moving into a space where cryptocurrency is becoming a predominant thing in everyone's life. Over time, it's going to be that that financial system, that new way. It's going to be the credit card of the future, right? Like what the credit card was to the consumers of the world. That's what potentially cryptocurrency could just be, another pathway to pay, right? Ultimately, as that starts to happen, there's going to be better tactics to be able to capitalize on all these things. And for me, right, personally, the way I see things, I think that cash flowing strategy is going to be best. And right now, it's very simple because there's only so many assets that cash flow. But if you think about it, brother, once Pulse Chain comes out, once PulseX comes out, that's a lot more cash flow opportunity. Liquid Loans, I'm pretty sure, is going to have some cash flow opportunity. Who knows how that's going to play out, right? I mean, but that was one. I think there's going to be a lot of different assets out there that are going to allow you to earn interest or earn yield in some type of way. If it makes sense, it will hold the test of time and you'll be able to earn it. But ultimately, imagine living on how people right now live on their real estate. They bought a home back in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. That home is still cash flowing for them. After 30 plus years, they're living on cash flow. There will be people that in the future will cash flow so heavy on crypto that's where they will make all their money. And as they sell, that's the crypto that's going to be distributed into other people's. But over time, that's what's helping them live. I think that's what Cash Flow Amigos is all about. That's how I think the future's going to kind of move over time. But that's what I want people to understand, that once again, the learned will inherit the earth. If you keep thinking that these basic things are going to, ultimately, stay here forever, think again, bro. They removed in the 1960s, they removed gold off the gold standard. That changed everything. Nobody really knew it, but the people who understood it said, oh, wait, now they're going to start printing money. Now the banks are going to start quantitative easing and allowing more people to borrow. Oh, okay. And so once again, when you start to understand what really happens, like how Richard right now is giving people the value, and you see it, Famous, you're in it because you know it, right?
It doesn't make sense, man. You have it's like you see when you see the mathematical equation, or you could go right now on the documents and you could go check this out, when you calculate an LP and you look at like the exponential way that the laws work in crypto. When you have something like this, you could calculate what happens, and what's gonna happen is gonna be insane, because there's so many externalities that could happen and could not happen. But when you look at, should it happen? Yeah, it will happen. There's nothing flawed about it. Every project failed in crypto because of something that just went, fuck. You know what I mean? And Hex, there's no fuck. The only fuck would be OA sold everything. But then it would be this, oh fuck, where's my treasure? I'm going to buy all the Hex and become the OA.
Type shit.
And then I decide everything. I could decide whatever happens on a coin that will forever be there. No,
I mean,
they won't get hacked. They can't get hacked. Even Richard said it today. It's like the consensus. It's like, man, becoming the OA. It's impossible. Yeah. Like it would be another Hex whale that would become it. But think about it, becoming the OA and deciding how it works. Sheesh. Someone's gonna fuck
Yeah,
up.
like having that much hex would ultimately give you a lot of influence, and it's kind of like
Like
how
Richard said, you had 100, you would just print more. You just print more hex. As long as you can make it valuable with the, you just have to make it valuable.
yeah,
That's it. It's bro, crypto's very simple. People just don't
but
get
it's
it. You
already
just gotta make
valuable
it
as it
valuable.
is. That's a standalone
Well,
product, like
Dogecoin.
hex alone, without
Dogecoin. The
anybody.
reason why we made it in Dogecoin is because we said, you know what? What can we do? Let's give people the coin. Let's give it, and we calculated how much we should give to the fauceting, and then we were like, okay, if we could give this much per clicks, then we can make it so like that this much would be distributed, and if we could average out this many users that could get distributed to, that we're laughing in this many years
Wait, so
when we
explain
want
that.
to
So you
pump
guys
it.
were giving out Dogecoin?
Yeah, fauceting. You never fauceted Dogecoin. It was free.
Nah, I've never heard about that. How was that?
So on like it was called Faucet Pay. I could check the emails. So Faucet Pay, it was like 2017.
Uh-huh.
We started the idea, and when it launched, the launch was it was a joke. And then if you were part of like the early memes, right? So I was part of like Vine days, and like I was like, yo, Vine's gonna make it. I didn't think it was gonna get closed down, but the whole concept of what Vine was, like the videos and like doing like these little mini commercials, and it's like
Yeah, I remember Vine.
joking
That's where
around,
Logan
and
Paul popped off.
memes, you know, like just the shit of memes, you know, the beginning of memes, and yeah.
But tell me how this faucet works. So what would you do? Like, how
So
would a
basically,
faucet
you
work
go
in
on a
2017?
website. You go on a website. You would copy paste your address of your wallet. You go, click a link, and you would wait 10. Click a link, wait, click a link, get paid. Refresh. Click the link, click the link, click the link, get paid. Refresh. Click the link.
How much was
or
it
whatever,
draining,
and
or how much was it giving you? Let's say, I
500
guess
Doge.
draining would be like the. Yeah,
500
do you
Doge.
remember? 500 Doge at a
500
time.
Doge. Like
Every 10 seconds.
like 30 seconds. I was getting Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. It wasn't much for those, but for Doge, man, it was 500.
Yeah, I mean they're pennies worth now.
I used to have 8 browsers open on 4 different computers. I remember living at my cousin's, and I was in his
Is that
basement.
similar to the faucet that these guys are making for PulseCon?
Yeah.
What website is
But
that again?
it was more like a website. So you had to go on a website. You got to go on a website. You'd sign in, then you would like. You know, so let me remember this exactly. So there was some websites you would put in, copy paste your address. It would pay you on the address. But then there was another website that you would connect, and it would automatically pay your your account, and then your account, because it was registered with like the fauceters or whatever, you were able to rack up the account to a certain amount. And I think it was like, I forget how much, $20 was at the time. It was like millions of it was like, I forget how much. I have to go check the prices at the time. But it was like hundreds, thousands of Doge, or it was millions of Doge to pull out. So I think I pulled out like twice the $20 at the time.
I'm gonna ask you real quick.
It was like MoonPay. It wasn't MoonPay, Moonbeam or something Moon. Pool
Did it
Pay.
look like this?
Nah.
No?
The shit was a button, bro. You have to understand something. It was a button, and around the button was just 20,000 ads. Just ads, sex ads, buy this ad, any ad possible that was part of the guy putting ads. So you would click it by accident, and there'd be all kinds of little buttons, X's, and like click here, click here, click here. So you would click it, and you would get paid by accident, right? But if you would click always the right button, it would bring you to another thing that you would wait like 5-second refresh. And then that 5-second, or like sometimes some of them were like 20-second refresh. But the 5-second refresh, you get it, refresh, click the button, boom, pay to your account, restart.
Do you think this faucet system helped
time
with
it.
adoption?
Yeah, of course.
Like in reality, like
did.
how successful do you think it was?
It always did. It always did. It always did. People, that was the first way people tried crypto.
Yeah.
Betting, sports betting. Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool.
Everyone
So then
wanted Doge.
that pulse chain
It was
faucets
funny.
would definitely probably work with the adoption of pulse chain then.
Especially
Because,
that now you could actually
yeah.
use that to get for transactions. You weren't able to claim enough ETH to make transactions. Don't get me wrong, you had to do that shit like, bro, I was doing that shit day and night. Like, wake up, go on my computers, and just fucking time that
That's
shit.
your first job.
Like a fucking crackhead. Like fucking like 2 screens, 4 computers. Like, I would even make the browsers like 6 browsers next to each other, so I didn't have to switch. I would just put them next to each other and like make them so small that I would just see the button. So I would just click, 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 and every time it would just refresh after 5 minutes. Wait, click, 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 and the next computer, click, 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 click. By the time the next computer, it'd be done, and just doing it for all the accounts and put all my addresses in each one, or have 4. I think I had like 5, 6 addresses. Which is boom, boom, boom.
That's dope, bro.
Boom, boom,
I didn't
boom.
know that actually
It's
had.
crazy.
I didn't know faucets were a thing. You see, because like that's the thing, bro. Like I was in. So you know how you mentioned iGenius at the beginning? I was in like a network marketing company. That's how I got involved with cryptocurrency. So like when I got involved with one of these network marketing companies, I started learning through these guys, and that's where like I learned all my shit. I didn't get involved through like the internet, through the forum space and all that stuff. I don't know. It never fell on my lap. The way it fell on my lap was someone telling me about that shit like in 2017. But that's interesting though. That's crazy, bro. So like the community's always been there. I mean, you know, you can always look, you know, with the YouTube videos and stuff, people talking about it, you know, with the Bitcoin forums and stuff. But that's dope, man. That's interesting.
Yeah, faucet happened a lot.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, it definitely does make sense.
But there was a lot of coins. There was Peercoin, Zcash. There was
Did you ever do the Pi Network? You heard of Pi Network? Pi Coin? I have hella Pi. That referral shit.
How much of that referral shit can you actually get?
I don't.
You know how it works, right? Yeah, one of my friends had a debate with him on this. Okay, so listen to this. You can get like 70% of your rewards of that how much you have, unless other people claim it. So if other people don't do the KYC, well, it's the scam of the century. They probably utilized everyone's internet, sold it, used it, with your consent, gave you this fucking random token for no bullshit reason, and now they're KYC, so they get all your information. It's insane.
So
for free.
Well, so do you ever get this fucking token? Do you ever get that Pi token? Never.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I told my friend.
I have a $500
bet on that. I have a $500 bet on that.
That $500.
Yeah, that he'll never get the coin.
Yeah.
Because he's never gonna pay me. I know it.
God, there's so much shit out there.
I did it on purpose because I'm like, bro, it comes up and give you $5. No, you give me $5.
Yo, family, I'm actually going to get going because I have a couple things to do like around 8 o'clock and I got to start getting dressed and whatnot. But yo, I do want to say thank you for tuning in.
My pleasure.
And for honestly, bro, just like, you know, being on here and yeah, man, just sharing your value, bro. Yeah, you've been a part of the community for a really long time. And, you know, now you're part of the HEX community, you know, giving your value and everything you do, bro. So just want to say thank you to you. Hats off to you, man. And appreciate you for joining us. And guys, you know, thank you so much for tuning into this Cryptocurrency Live session, man. You know, we just wanted to give you guys as much value as we could. We talked about MAXI today. We talked about HEX today. We talked about pretty much everything that was going on in the cryptocurrency space. I think the only thing, lo único que nos faltó was like some inflation talk. You know, pretty much, you know, but that's because I'm from the United States. For me, you know, we had the inflation metrics come out the other day, and inflation's at like 9.1%. But we'll definitely talk about that in another stream. And honestly, I hope you get to join us for that one too, bro. I want to have more people in the community.
Yeah, man. Come on Monday to our thing also. If I could show one thing, the worst damn crypto show Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're gonna be on Monday. You're gonna come on for sure. We'll send you.
I got you, bro. Yeah, man. Just shoot me the link. I'll be more than happy to get on. I've been on before with the boys, and you know, for me, it's always a good time. So, yeah, man, I'll be more than happy to join. I see
Yeah, we
Romanian
love having
Dan
you
still in
on,
the
bro.
chat.
1000%.
For sure, for sure.
Shouts out,
Nah, we
Romanian.
can definitely do that, bro.
Let's
But yo, I
go.
appreciate you once again, bro. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you guys for being here, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Bye, Hex. Ciao, guys.
Bye, HEX Flex.